board member appreciation month.
I didn't know either.
I did write them all down the other day, though.
The appreciation month.
Yeah, yes, I did. I wrote them all down, and I did not include that one.
Now you gotta add all the days.
And it depends on what calendar you look at, because one site will have them.
Well, it's 6 o'clock.
Okay, I have 6 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. First off, I would like to recognize how many people we have sitting out here and how excited that makes me to see all of y'all's smiling faces. Thank you for coming. We are going to take a roll call. Mr. Billy Holland and Ms. Tracy Stritchett, Ms. Jamie Jackson, and Mr. Kyle Glover. We are all in attendance. If everybody would please rise for the invocation and stay standing for the pledge. I'm going to ask Mr. Billy Holland if he will lead us.
God, thank you for bringing us here tonight. Please grant the superintendent and board wisdom as we make decisions for our students in Autauga County. Thank you for allowing us to live in a community that has so many citizens, parents, educators that care deeply about our educational system. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, are we all ready? Okay. The first item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve?
I move to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor? Say
Aye.
aye. Say aye.
Aye.
Yep. We're still trying to figure out which one we're going to do. Okay. As the agenda is approved, we'll move on to receive as information. Do I have a motion to receive? Or do I have a motion to receive as information?
I move to receive information.
Or a motion to receive, yeah.
All right. We have one item on there on the receiver's information tonight. Of course, we'll be discussing others during our work session. But we have a capital projects update. We'll talk more about some of these, the kindergarten building, during the work session. But Ms. Thompson, do you have any updates?
The ACTC addition is moving along pretty good. They're starting to put some sheet rock in, plumbers roughing in, electricians roughing in. So that's moving along pretty quickly now. Exterior canopies are starting to go up, so it's starting to look like a building. So, I'll get a chance to ride out there, take a look, give me a call, I can tour you around. It's starting to come together. The gas pumps out at the bus garage, about 98% complete. There's some electronic stuff they're waiting on still. We were told they were gonna finish them yesterday, we were told they were gonna finish them today. They're still not finished with them, so, hopefully by the end of this week, they will be finished. And then the Early Learning Center, they're stripping the topsoil and moving dirt, pretty rapidly. Got them out there this week. It's changing a lot. It's starting to look like a construction site, so they're getting the dirt moved and getting started on that.
Question?
No?
Okay. That's all on receivers information. Consider for,
Okay, so now we'll move on to the consider for approval consent agenda. These items are kind of housekeeping items. If there's, do I have a motion to consider for approval the consent agenda?
I make a motion to approve.
I second.
Okay, so are there any questions or comments about anything that's on the consent agenda?
may I address a couple?
Sure, yes.
On number 7, the Otagoville Elementary gym floor, that is a replacement. It's actually a vinyl tile. It's not a wooden floor. They have several, not several, a lot of tiles that are missing. This actually probably should have been done several years ago. This is on, it's an agreement with the architect to do a bond, because it actually will be a public works. So that's why, I mean, not a bond, a bid. And then number 8 is along the same lines. It'll be a public works, but we're doing a system-wide bid for tile. Felt like we could get a better price, and that way we don't have to bid out individuals. It'll be for an extended period of time.
What are the timelines on these?
Ms. Wilder?
It was June 1 of this year to July 31st of next year.
We're trying to get 2 full summers. There's a lot of work needs to be done in the summertime, so we're trying to include 2 full summers in the bid. Because some roads will have to be done in the summertime.
And that will be replacing carpet with tile. We're using ESSER mitigation money. And they really, carpet tends to be an allergen and collects things, so that will be replacing carpet with the tile in the areas that we need it.
2 questions on that. That's for all the projects? It's ESSER?
Yes, with that bond, yes, sir. Now, some of the schools could utilize the bond because it is a system bid, so they could use local funds and do whatever they'd like
Okay.
to,
Do they have to use it within the year?
within that same time frame.
Yeah.
What they're doing now is everybody's doing individual bids and everything.
Yeah.
It's extremely time consuming.
Yeah.
1 or 2 rooms here, 1 or 2 rooms there, 1 or 2 rooms here.
Okay.
And that's the same thing with number 9, the painting agreement. That's just a system-wide, standard cost, basic, choice of paint. Again, if the schools want additional things painted or whatever, then they could utilize the bid as well. And it's the same time period, correct?
Yes, and both of those include the labor, the
Right.
material and the labor. That's one of the things, you can buy the materials off the bid list, but there's no labor involved there. So we're bidding the labor and the material. So things are a little different.
Ms. Superintendent, how does that affect, I know we have a paint crew that has operated around here for a very long time and kept up our schools. Is this to replace that? Is this an
They actually
addition?
didn't do it last year.
I'm sorry, now?
They didn't have interest last year.
Okay.
So this is kind of, no, they will not. This will be a company that would be doing that.
Okay.
But we didn't have any interest in doing it last year.
Okay.
And then number 10, as you
Yes.
see, is the school calendar. And we're going to adopt a calendar for the next 2 years. And usually we just do 1 year at a time, but this one will be for 2 years so that people can plan, further in advance. And I think that's a pretty great idea. So that school calendar should be out shortly. And if there are no other questions, if everybody would like to vote, say aye. Or if everybody's in agreement, say aye.
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 Okay. Okay. Now we'll move to the consider for approval.
Board members, I recommend approval of the personnel, the personnel action items as presented. Oh, wait, we need to approve the consent agenda. No, we've already done
Oh,
that.
you did that, yes.
Yes, okay. I recommend approval of the personnel action as presented.
I move to approve the personnel action as presented.
Second the motion.
Okay. If there are no other questions, say aye.
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 Okay.
Okay.
Board members, I recommend approval of the academic alignment team as presented.
I move to accept the academic alignment team as presented.
And I second.
Okay. Are there any other questions?
I have one question.
Okay.
Is this in addition to elementary? Has that already been done? Or what-
Elementary is already in place.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Everybody's in agreement, say aye.
Aye.
Board members, I recommend approval of the e-learning day as presented. This is really a management issue. It gets the kids out of the building on a virtual day that's not testing, which they tend to cause some discipline issues at times because they're sitting in a room all day long, with really nothing to do, just busy work. So they will be on virtual learning if they're not on grade testing. Right now, it's ACT, and
This particular day will be ACT.
It's just AC.
writing, so that's only our 11th graders.
so all the high schools will be on the same day. And that's just, virtual learning will be 9 through 12.
Okay.
All elementary, in middle school and junior high school will be in session.
Okay. Even like at Billingsley and
Yes.
at Delaware, they were, okay.
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 I
Any
make
other
a motion to
questions?
approve.
Do what?
I make a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll
Okay.
second.
Okay. If everybody's in agreement, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Board members, I recommend approval of the high school chilled water piping agreement. What this is a clarification. We had to rebid it. Remember, we rejected the bid at a previous meeting, and this is giving Mr. Weibel permission to proceed with the bid and the other project, or the other aspects of it.
Okay. Any questions?
So is this,
This is an amendment to my agreement that increases the amount of it increases the estimated construction amount to 1.8 million. It was previously 1 million. And that is, if you may not remember the figures we talked about at the last meeting, but essentially that's enough to do a 2-pipe system. The 4-pipe system was gonna be more, but we did talk about going ahead and bidding the 4-pipe system, an alternate bid for a 4-pipe system. So right now, the plan would be to do a base bid of a 2-pipe system, an alternate bid for a 4-pipe system. But we would not be bidding the new air conditioning or new air handler units that we had previously bid. So that would just be way beyond the budget. I do want to tell you that I'm working with the engineer, and we're looking at an alternative approach. What we found was that the really costly thing was the piping, the new piping. So we are looking at an alternative solution that would not install new piping. It would essentially look at putting new air handlers and new rooftop units condensers to serve those, and we would be using the latest technology on that, the variable refrigerant flow. It's basically a large heat pumps. So he's looking at that. We hadn't made any decision yet on it, but we are looking at that, and that would give you a complete new air conditioning system, much like we had bid before for $3.3 million. So. But it's much cheaper. would be much cheaper because of that high cost of the piping. That's where all the high cost was coming in, so that will be an alternative solution that we probably will want to try to bid. With Jay, I've talked to Jay about it. Jay thinks it's a good thing to do. We've talked to some contractors, actually the two contractors who bid the project before, and they think that's probably a good approach. So, and our engineer is the one that proposed it, so that's where we are with that.
Where would be it, like, time frame wise of bidding this out, of seeing if that is an option, of being able to just get started by the summer?
We're trying to get it bid by February still, so that's the plan. Bid it by February, that way the bidders told us that we could get those air handlers that we had bid in December, we could get them in 4 months. Well, that makes it pretty tight, but I mean, it may be doable. We think it may be doable.
So if I'm understanding correctly, then it makes obsolete the 2-pipe and even the 4-pipe system that would be bid. This would be something completely different.
Those would still be bid as alternates, but I'm thinking that the base bid would probably be this alternate system where we would put all new air handlers in and new variable refrigerant flow condensers on the roof. I will mention to you that the original building design had condensers on the roof.
Right.
And that was before, then we, back in the 90s, I think it was, we maybe in the early 2000s, we took those units off the roof and put a chiller in. Well, now, there's a 200-ton chiller there, which we would be able to, wouldn't need anymore with this system. But there is the gymnasium there that has 2 82-ton chillers that are now getting to be about 25 years old. And so we're thinking that might be a good place to use that chiller.
Okay.
That's our thinking right now. And if y'all approve this amendment, we'll move forward. We'll work with Mr. Tidmore and Mr. Thompson, and we'll move forward with this.
Very good.
So we'll hopefully have some bids in February.
Very good. Thank you for that. That's very good news for those of us who have been up there and had the tour of that.
One
Yes.
thing I didn't mention is we would take out that, we don't want to leave that old piping in there. So part of that project would be to remove that 2-pipe system that's there now.
Perfect. And that'll free up, from my knowledge, that'll free up some space maybe for some janitorial closets and different things where all that'll come out of, Jay?
Not necessarily those closets that are used now will still be used, where the boiler's at, that could come out.
Okay.
That would work.
Okay, very good.
And then those big chillers are in the parking lot beside the lunchroom.
Right.
There is a 30-ton chiller there that would stay there. It's used mostly for the kitchen, so that 30-ton chiller would stay there.
Okay.
Okay. If everyone is in agreement, say aye.
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 Okay. Board members, I recommend approval of the Prattville High School operable wall replacement agreement. That's a big fancy term for a movable wall between 2 classrooms, not just a regular fold-in door that's a heavy duty like you would see at a conference center, that type of door.
Okay. Are there any questions? No? Okay. If everybody's in agreement, say aye. Aye.
Motion.
Oh, a motion to, sorry. Is there a motion to accept this agreement?
So moved.
A second.
Okay, all right. If everyone's in agreement, say aye.
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 Board members, I recommend approval of the YMCA ACBOE Summer Learning Program Plan as attached. We're very excited about this.
Yes.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, are there any questions?
I just have a comment.
Okay.
I would just like to say thank you to David Lewis and the partnership that I know this school system has with YMCA, and we look forward to carrying that forward, but we also look forward to strengthening that and building upon that. Thank you for partnering with us in that.
Thank y'all for your consideration and for allowing us to be a part of it. It's a privilege to work with y'all.
Thank you.
So I do have a comment, I guess a question and a comment. Will this camp work, my understanding is it'll work in collaboration with the literacy camps, Ms. McNider? Yes. And allow families to have peace when they're at work, you know, they can't pick their children up at noon.
There will be, and Ms. Dial may want to elaborate, there will be limited seats because of the capacity that the Y is able to
Yep.
house. But we're reaching out to our Toggable School students and bringing them in to offer those opportunities to them, and also to our Billingsley students and bringing them over to Pine Level Elementary School during the summer learning program to offer those opportunities to them as well.
So will transportation be provided from Otagoville and Billingsley? That's all.
Outstanding.
And is there a chance in the future to expand if we have limited seating? If there's a wait list?
Probably because we're using our funds to do this, is allowing us to expand, and probably we're going to have to start back using title funds like many of our other surrounding districts. So we might have to go to a model where we might only serve our third graders because we're hitting that literacy act, because we won't have those funds to do it. But right now, we're able to do K through 5 because of our ARP funds. But in the future, that was our mindset when we met, probably trying to figure out to hit certain groups. But that was one of our biggest things. We wanted to bring in our Otagoville students so they could experience the Y, and also our Billingsley students so they can experience the Y.
So we have 2 summers till 2024, or is it just this one summer?
We have 2 summers because the ARP ESSER 3 funds, they will end September of 2024. And then after that, that's when we'll start looking at possibly using our Title I funds to do this.
But as you know, with the Numeracy Act coming on board as well, we should be able to carry that out with up to our 5th graders once that all comes into
That's
play as
awesome.
well.
Good.
Very good.
I hope we can do it all the way down to kindergarten.
Yep. Good stuff. David?
I'm just gonna say, this is a new venture for us as far as expanding what we're already doing, and we don't want to take away, we've been serving families each summer for many, many years, and so we have a number of people that depend on us already, and we didn't want to totally knock out those people as well. So this is the seats that are in our proposal are new seats to our program. We know that there's going to be some overlap. And so whatever excess capacity we have due to that overlap, we'll take on as many students as we can. And my hope is that we'll find our feel with this summer, and then the following summer be able to do even more. We are a little concerned about the labor market, and it has been extremely challenging over the last 18 months. We are confident that we can staff and serve the numbers that we've put out there, and that's one of the reasons why we wanted to do that at that level, because we know we can staff. We feel strongly we can staff that, but hopefully we'll get our feet under us and be able to take on even more capacity in the future. So.
Perfect.
And I really want to add on to the staffing part of one of our plans for college and career readiness. We're going to recruit from our Billingsley, Otagoville, and Prattville, and Mulberry for those students, because they can start working at age 15 to come into work. So we'll do have a recruiting process there. Awesome. And that's included kind of within the contract for college and career readiness part.
I think it's a tremendous, partnership of, when you travel the state, of seeing the lack of having an all-day. We just lose so many parents that we have good programs at the school, but we can't provide it all day. And using this partnership for the Y, that closes that gap. I think we're going to see tremendous strides. I love to see the partnership and the creativity to fill in some of those gaps for our parents that are working. And let me throw in for the Y, as we look for students, they've got 15% tuition at Troy if you work at the YMCA. So 15% at the Y. I'll plug them.
Yes, that's awesome. Okay. Any more questions or comments? Okay. Is there a motion to accept the contract for the summer learning?
I move to accept the YMCA Summer Learning Program contract.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. We're all in agreement when you say aye.
Aye.
Board members, I recommend authorizing Carmichael Engineering to proceed with monitoring and testing services for the Prattville Early Learning Center as presented. This is the soil test, compaction test, things like that.
Okay.
It will be billed through the architect, though.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
A second.
Okay. Okay. Any questions or comments?
I assume this is mandatory
Yes.
for building, yeah.
You don't have,
Well,
But you could get in trouble
if it
later.
falls down, you don't have
Yeah.
to
25
report.
million, so you probably want to make sure the concrete, they test the concrete's poured, they come up and test the sample of that. There's a lot of things they test, and they also, rebars put in, they inspect that, water connections and bolts and stuff like that. And there's a lot of things that go along.
We
with
have
it.
to,
We
yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all we have to.
Okay, if we're all in agreement, we can say aye.
Aye.
All right, that's all the business, just a couple of items on the superintendent's report. We had an incident at Prattville High School today. I think we were texting about what was going on as it was happening. We did have a young man who made a bad choice and is paying the consequences. It was taken care of as quickly as we became aware of it. The administration and the police department, Prattville Police Department, responded appropriately, and the school day was not disrupted. Matter of fact, the students, for the most part, probably knew nothing was going on. But along that said, I will need a date 10 days from tomorrow, which I believe is the 11th. Ms. Addison, is that correct? February 11th, for a called board meeting.
February 11th. That's the 10 days?
Yes.
And you need it before 10 days, right?
No, I need it.
February 11th
What's
is
the date?
Saturday.
Yeah, February 11th is Saturday, so.
25th of January.
Oh,
Oh, it's in
25th.
2 weeks.
I skipped a month.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I
As much
did.
as you'd like to.
Saturday.
As much as you would like to.
I was in February.
I like the work ethic, though, you know?
What time?
That will be, I would like to do it, probably needs to be at 6 o'clock.
You said the 25th?
It's fine. Oh, no,
I can-
it's
yeah,
fine.
25th.
Is it fine with you, Kyle?
Yes,
I will say that is pending,
Right.
some legal things.
at 6 o'clock.
6 p.m., yes.
Okay,
Okay?
all right.
You have in front of you, or not in front of you now, but this is School Board Appreciation Month, and you have cards and a goodie bag from
And there's a few.
students from various schools, all schools in the county. So you're very much appreciated. Even you've been here for a month, and you keep coming back.
That's
So
right.
there you go.
right.
That's always a good thing. We are in the middle of, for the first time in a long time, an inventory control process, barcoding items, going through. We've done it on paper, but nothing's been barcoded or technological advance. Ms. Dial is heading that up. It's a massive project. Would you like to say anything about that?
It's just a lot. We have a lot of technology that has been purchased with ARP funds, a lot of Chromebooks, smart boards, iPads, and the main thing is to keep track of them, especially with us going through compliance monitoring. One of the things that they do, they come in and they check our inventory, and if it does not match, we have to pay those funds back. So that is one of the main things. Like the superintendent said, there has not been a inventory system this detailed. The company that we actually have their Divot Assets, they do Jefferson County, Mobile. They're really quick, go in, do the barcode. We have a scanner system. They're going to provide training to our school-based inventory personnel, and they'll come back yearly to do that inventory for us. So it just, we have to work on disposals. They'll take that up, and then it feeds into our system, which is NextGen and Harris, so it can match up with reports that Mr. Camino may need to report to, and to our CSFO will need to report to. So it's been a big task. I mean, they work through the weekend, and they know what they're doing. I can tell you that much.
They come in and just boom, boom, boom.
I mean, we're inventory everything, even the stoves, tractors, everything.
Do you inventory teachers' personal items, or?
No,
They
no.
do that themselves?
Right, yes.
And that is something, I'm glad you said that. A lot of people aren't aware, like if there is a loss at a school, personal items are not covered. Then that would be under your homeowner's insurance, so, okay. And the last item I have, we'll talk more about it during the work session. We, if you recall, when we bid, or put to bid, or sent out for bid, the pre-K early learning center, kindergarten early learning center, we included a couple of alternates. One was just one entrance, and then off of McQueen Smith, and one was two entrances, that just it entered the property, in just a parking lot, okay? We're having a little bit of a, issue. We've been stopped having, we accepted the bid of having both entrances. But we've been stopped from connecting the second entrance onto McQueen Smith. There's a discussion, or would like to have us to, extend J Street to McQueen Smith, which doesn't, it's not needed to, J Street is the street that comes off of, Sheila. It's that's a public, and it ends there at, the Smith Center. Okay, so, the city would like for us, and we've talked about this from the beginning, that we really couldn't do it. It's not needed for access to the school, because with the two entrances, would be separate entrances. It would connect, Sheila to McQueen Smith. It'd be a pretty much straight shot, which could be a safety issue with people running through there. We did find a Attorney General's opinion that stated, yes, school boards can partner with a municipality if a road needed to be built to gain access to a new school. Didn't mention while we're doing a parking lot to extend the road. So we're working with the city, and probably, we have X amount of money that we did the bond for. And that's what we have, and that's what the school's gonna be. So, if it comes down to that, we will just have one entrance, and go from there. The second entrance was just a kind of a luxury item. It wasn't necessary. So that's where we are with that. As I get more, I will keep y'all updated. But it's nothing to vote on right now. Anything like that, that's just for information. And I will upload to the drive the Attorney General's opinion. That's all I have.
So let me ask you on that.
Yes.
So the one entrance versus two, that's not going to affect traffic flow, but nothing like that.
No, that was just gonna be an extra, we'll have it, the architect did an alternate to where they had the two entrances, and then they went back to the drawing for the one that it would all work.
Okay.
But in the future, you could do two entrances if
We
ever
could.
needed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If we extended and they, the city had said they could go in half, but the Attorney General, or Kyle's with us, but the Attorney General's opinion, states we can't do that. And we do own the land, but not, J Street ends currently in front of the Smith Center. Then there's a gravel park, there's a park over, there's an Overlook Park.
The J Street ends at our property line,
Yeah,
and then the Smith Center has access to their facility through our property. The J Street ends at our property line, at that last house on J Street.
and there are no houses from Smith Center to McQueen Smith.
And the issue with the city is they're wanting that road extended.
Yes. I mean, but that's. And it would be, I mean, we just,
Don't have the money.
no, we don't have the money. I mean, basically, we just don't have the money.
Can't write a bad check?
No, no. But that's all I have.
Okay. Okay, well, if there aren't any more, if everybody is satisfied, if there aren't any more, I can have a motion to adjourn the meeting.
And we will adjourn to a work session where no business will be taken or
Right.
anything.
Yes, no business will be taken and no votes will be taken. It's just a work session.
So I move to adjourn.
A second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Okay, we are adjourned. Thank y'all for coming. Appreciate it.
5-minute break.